The recipes brewed on this show are provided by HomebrewSupply.com. Fresh ingredients, best prices, and same-day shipping. Make your brew day better with HomebrewSupply.com. Oh, hi there, and welcome back to another episode of Recipe Recap. This is the show where we go over the recipes that we're brewing.
Oh.
And Jane, what are you looking at? Oh, you're looking at your notes?
Yeah.
Is that Brewer's Friend? What are you using?
I think that is Brewer's Friend. I don't remember.
Wow, that's 6.6. So that went all the way down to 1010.
Yeah. This is the show where we go over the recipes that we're brewing, which are all available conveniently at HomebrewSupply.com. And if you use our promo code HHH, you'll get 5% off your order, not just the recipe kit, but whatever you have in your cart. Todd, today we are talking, last episode, and by the way, we record 2 at a time for efficiency's sake so that I don't have an excuse for why I don't do weekly episodes. So that's why I'm wearing the same stupid beanie. And do you remember when you bought me this shirt?
No, but I do. That stupid beanie looks familiar. I do remember buying that. Yeah, at a show, right?
Yeah, it was at Great American Beer
Festival. Yeah, I do remember.
2013.
I think it was like $20. It was like $20 for a shirt?
James, he was so mad that I found it. He said, I want to buy y'all a shirt. And there was like a clearance section of $10 shirts. But I went, it was Victory Brewing. It says resist prohibition. I was like, oh, this is perfect. I need that shirt.
That's cool.
Todd was pissed at me the rest of that trip. He was like,
oh, that's an exaggeration.
Really? Anyway, this is the show where we go over the recipes we're brewing, and this episode is the delicious, I drank a ton of it last time I was up here. It is a Sierra Nevada Celebration clone that Mr. Burns, you brewed by yourself, or did y'all do this one together?
No, by myself, yep.
So let's start off with like the recipe. Well, first of all, let's start with what you cloned it off of. So this is, I believe, a Lorena Evans original recipe. This is this seems like something she'd do only because of how good it turned out.
Yeah, she's flawless on her recipes.
She is incredible. We need to have her come on, fly her down.
Yeah,
and do
we should.
This show and do the Homebrew Happy Hour podcast show with her. And
we've got to make sure it's one of your beers we're reviewing, though.
Oh, jeez. No.
Yeah, no, definitely not mine.
So let's talk about Celebration first off as a beer. It's an annual release.
Yep. From Sierra Nevada.
From Sierra Nevada. It is a Christmas beer, I think it's safe to say.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And it's really hop forward. Is it an IPA? Yes. Is it considered an IPA?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So talk about the clone, talk about your brew day, talk about your numbers and all that.
Well, I said yes very quickly. It might be Sierra Nevada. It may be a pale ale, but I don't remember. That's a great question. We don't even say on here that, do we? So
we do not. You spoke very.
I did. I was very confident.
Do they? I don't think they make anything other than IPA.
It is
oh, no kidding, right?
It is a celebration.
Yes.
Of hops in your mouth. No, it's actually, it's so. It is, but it's to me, it's not overly hoppy. James, what do you think?
It's kind of piney, is what I would say.
I like piney.
It is hop forward, I will say that.
I like piney.
James, I'm going to say, I wanted him to ask you because you're not going to lie about hop forward.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to lie about that. It is hoppy. What's the IBUs?
IBUs is 75.
Yeah, that's
just
hoppy.
Just a minor 75.
Yeah.
Thank God I trimmed my fingernails. I just realized I'm showing them right now.
So, you want me to talk about how it went on the brew day? Or?
Yeah, so let's start with your brew day. What did you brew this on?
I brewed on a 3-tier system, a Herm system, the same one I brew pretty much all my beers on now. It's sitting right over here, but you can't see it. We are, as many people know, we've been working on 3-tier systems for about 3 years on the 3-tier.
Oh, longer than that.
But really working on.
It's been a while.
You built the first controller. It was longer ago than that.
2017, I think.
Wow, time flies when you're
having fun.
It is fun, yes.
So it's a great beer to brew on that. It's you don't have to do anything real special. You don't need rice hulls or anything like that. You just brew the beer. Yeah. So this one, the mash temp was 152. I brewed this 4 months ago, so I have to cheat a little bit and look at my notes. The mash temp was 152, 60-minute boil. Pretty straightforward. I actually hit 1.060, and the target is 1.069. I have to say, I could have hit 1.069, but I wanted more beer because I wanted to fill 3 kegs. So I took it a little bit lower, and we had this idea, well, we'll do that, and then it won't have too much alcohol in it. And then when I fermented it actually got to 1.010 or 1.009. It's kind of hard to tell on the hydrometer for absolute certainty, but it ended up being almost exactly. So that says on the recipe it should be between 6.5 and 7.0, and this was 6.636. So I would say
you're right on the dot.
Yeah, that's right in that range. So, and you can taste the alcohol in it. That must be. I put mine on Do Not Disturb. I apologize.
How rude.
I'm
not going to edit that out.
A telephone call, so
I'm not going to edit that out.
At least you didn't take it.
Yeah, hold that thought, guys. Hold on. So it is on Do Not. No, I like that you had to prove to me. He knows I don't believe him.
Yeah, it's weird. It's my wife. My wife can get through any Do Not Disturb. That does not work on her.
No kidding.
No.
All right, so back to this. So, being that it's a Christmas beer, for me, in the winter, I want to drink stouts and smoke cigars. What do you think it is about this beer that makes like the IPA for them?
Tastes like Christmas.
Wait, well, I was going to say, that's
tastes like Christmas tree.
It does taste like a Christmas tree. That must be.
I will say this. Your dog loves it because he came over there while I was pouring it and he was licking all the foam that came off of it.
Well, because he's rotten.
So he knows a good beer when he sees one.
He's been under our feet the whole time.
The entire time. He's rotten. I will say, I wish we had a bottle of it, but I had a bottle during December. You nailed it. I think the clone recipe absolutely nails it. I forget, is Celebration one of the beers that they change every year, or is that
No,
I know Anchor
don't think
does.
so.
Okay.
No, I think it's the same every year. Anchor's the one that they change every year. Yeah,
That's right.
And I get it every year. I mean, I buy this beer every year, and I actually have to say I couldn't find it this year though. I had a really hard time finding Christmas beers this year.
You had me do it.
Yeah, I had you look, and you couldn't.
I couldn't find this one. Yeah.
I actually found a few after Christmas. And enjoyed them then, but I didn't buy it this year. But I didn't have to because I had 15 gallons of it.
I brought you Anchor. So pardon me, I didn't have this year's release in December. That was the Anchor.
Yeah, the Anchor is the one that I always get because it's different every year.
All right, so on the style, let's go over the hops that were used because obviously a lot of hops were.
Yeah, I'm definitely have to read this because I don't remember from over 4 months ago. So the first hop addition is 1 ounce of Chinook, and this is assuming you're brewing a 5-gallon batch. I think I brewed 17, so it was a lot more than that.
Right.
Yeah.
So 1 ounce of Chinook, and then at 30 minutes, an ounce of Centennial, another ounce of Centennial at 20 minutes, and then the dry hop was 2 ounces of Cascade and 2 ounces of Centennial at somewhere between 5 and 7 days. When I did the hop addition in this, I actually put it in bags or in muslin, hop bags.
Right. Yep.
And I hung those in my fermenter because I have a very large fermenter, and of course, as I said, it was a lot more hops than that. So it was 6, 12. It was like 13 or 14. I think it was 14 ounces of hops total. So I let those sit for quite a while. And then when that was done, I took them out and cold crashed it, and it actually came out really clear.
It is.
It's real crisp. I like, even though it's this beer, we've had it in there for a while. This is the 3rd keg. I gave you a keg, I believe. No? Mm-mm. Anyway, maybe that's the one we had to keg. But anyway,
we had a second one in there.
Yeah, we definitely. But there were 3 total. So
where'd the 3rd one go?
I don't know. I thought I gave it to James.
I
guess we drank it and don't remember. we did have a lot of people over for Christmas. Everybody likes a good Christmas beer for Christmas.
I was going to say, because we know it's not a shtick. IPAs aren't necessarily my thing, but when I was up here 2 weeks ago, I drank a lot of this. I was enjoying it. I just said, in the winter, I prefer, I like stouts and cigars. This paired pretty good good with the cigar.
Well, you know, and again, it's that flavor. It reminds me of the other beer, the Anchor beer, just in that even though it doesn't have the berries in it, it does kind of smell like, it tastes like a Christmas tree to me. So it's very good.
It does smell. I will say this, even though I don't love punch in the face hoppy beers, I do love the smell of them. This aroma is incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, I absolutely love the smell of hoppy beers.
Yeah, and I do like hoppy beers, so I really enjoyed it.
All right, so before we get into some of the wrap-up details, do you remember the pack of yeast you used? I didn't see it on your notes.
It was Imperial
House?
Well, I said I remembered. Why isn't it on my notes? I just assumed 4 months ago that how could I possibly forget which yeast I used? But it was an Imperial yeast.
I bet you it was either Flagship or House
or
Juice.
I think
it was
Juice.
It was Juice. It was Juice. Yeah, it was Juice. You're right. Yeah.
Which it always produces incredible. Juice is super popular with people buying, especially. So on homebrewsupply.com, the Tropic Haze, the Juicy Sun Drops, and the Juicy NE IPA, New England IPA, are the 3 top bestsellers on the website.
Really?
And all of them,
out of all the styles,
all the styles,
1, 2,
top
3.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Juice is like the #1 sold or selling, yeast pack on homebrewsupply.com. Isn't that wild?
Wow.
Like people how long?
Well, that name alone is like, oh yeah, I got to get that.
Gotta
yeast.
get that. Yeah, exactly. I'm just so impressed that the craze of hop forwardness and then also hazy beers hasn't slowed down like we hoped it would.
No. I keep hoping the IPA craze is over. And that's been, 10 years now?
Yeah,
Long live the IPA.
All right, so Todd, wrapping it up. Brew day went good, no real hurdles. Fermentation went good, no real hurdles. On a scale of 0, hey, you're a beginner, do this, and 10, experts only, where would you put this?
Oh, maybe a 4, just because 5, because you have to do the dry hopping, and some people get nervous about that. But I mean, it's not a difficult beer to brew to me at all. I mean, you're just brewing a beer. You know, there's nothing real special about it.
And being an ale,
actually, the brewer's notes. Anytime that we anything's difficult, there's one line that says add dry hops 5 to 7 days before bottling or kegging. So that's the most complicated thing in there.
But you know what? To be fair, I like that you put it at a 4 or a 5 because I think that's appropriate. Because dry hopping is an additional step that can be intimidating. That scale we use, we all have a good understanding that it's really, because there are people who watch the show and they're going to probably try the extract version of this first. Well, you're still going to dry hop, but that might be your good introduction to getting into dry hopping on a beer, which is a very common kind of routine thing for IPAs. A lot of beers, even the session IPA for this month's Patreon at patreon.com/homebrew happy hour, the Low Tide session IPA, it calls for dry hops. And it has also a ton of hop.
Well, if you think about it, dry hopping goes against everything you've learned about brewing.
Right.
You know, it's like everything's got to be sanitized. Can't put anything after it's been, But you have to remember there's some alcohol generated when you do dry hop, and that's
you've already got alcohol in it.
Yeah, so it's gonna.
And hops aren't going to contaminate a beer. And I always boil the bag before I put it in there. Yeah, so I'm killing everything that's on the bag.
We got good feedback, by the way. On a recent episode, y'all went over that, and a lot of people were like, "I didn't even think about boiling the bag. That makes total sense to just."
It works great. You don't put it in sanitizer because then it works good.
It was the vodka guy. Remember him?
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, I could just boil it." It's like, no, keep using your vodka, man. You're good.
Yeah, I can tell you this: every time that I've dry hopped in the conical, I just pour it in. I don't do a bag or anything. I just pour it in. Haven't had any issues so far. So,
do you remember what it was from grain to glass? Because being an ale, technically, you could turn this around pretty quick.
It was, but I always cold crash, and I think on this one. I think I cold crashed it a while. We were kind of saving it for Christmas too.
Yeah, we were.
And it really cleared up. I mean, it got really nice and clear.
Did a great job on that.
Oh, and I should have asked you. I guess I can now because we're still recording. You only use Whirlfloc, or did you do any kind of filtering? This is all natural.
Whirlfloc, yeah. Okay. I threw a couple tablets in. You don't. It says 1 tablet to 5 gallons, but if you're brewing 17 gallons, I just use 2 tablets. You don't need. One's a little overkill for 5, I think. So I just use 2.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with this. And again, for a clone recipe, I need to make sure it's hers. I'm giving you credit anyways, Lorena. Her clone recipes kill it.
Yeah, they are.
No, she's
this
solid.
was really good. This was one of my favorite beers I've brewed in a long time.
If I was the commercial brewery, I'd be suspect to how she's getting so damn close to the real thing.
Right.
Who's your inside information? But anyway, Todd, I think you nailed it.
Yes.
I haven't quite finished it, but we're about to go eat, so I'll finish it with that. But I want to say good job on the beer. You already finished yours?
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Recipe Recap. If you want more information, go to homebrewhappyhour.com. You can find all of our episodes there. Again, go to homebrewsupply.com. Use our promo code HHH. You'll get 5% off your entire order. Or if you're interested in getting even bigger discounts and other fun stuff shipped out to you, go join our Patreon. Go to patreon.com/homebrewhappyhour. You can see all the different tiers, which have perks starting from discounts, t-shirts, that cool CM Becker hat that he's got on. We've got a lot of perks over there, so go check out the program now, and we will catch you on the next episode.
Cheers.
Bros, cheers.